It had been a quiet night at Vista Country Sheriff's Department, the security typing memo after memo, and at the clang of holding cells downstairs echoed throughout the dark halls. Sergeant Martins had been admiring the stars out in his office window. When he saw a young man in his mid-30s run into the building, he was intrigued. Of course, not that many people required help at the police department in a quiet town like this. He didn't even recognize this person from his daily patrols and hadn't seen him around. After a small stroll downstairs to check it out, he saw two officers trying to calm him down. "I can't find her. I lost her," said the scared man between huge breaths of air. "Relax, sir. Just explain to us about what happened and we'll take care of it." This only scared the man further. For more loud moments of exhaling, he passed out and fell to the ground. The man woke up in a holding cell downstairs with a wet towel on his head. An hour later, he looked as if a death had passed over him. After some heavy breaths, he began to collect himself. "I have been doing Sudoku and waiting for him to come to his senses so I could question him about her." He said that he decided to take his 4-year-old daughter to a nearby playground. His eyes were glued to her ever since the day he had lost her in that department store. When we got there, she ran towards the slides and began to play around with the wood chips. It was cloudy when we got there, and I had a bad presence. And I ain't no voodoo worshipper, but I could sense something weird in my stomach. I turned around to see a light of smoke. I didn't want her seeing it, so I've been trying to quit for a year now. But no dice. When I turned around, she was gone. I combed through that playground high heavens. "Okay, sir. I'll put out a missing persons report. Don't you worry. We got a 90% chance rate of these kinds of things." The next day, I decided to go back to look around that playground. The school had just ancient to where it's long been shut down, and the children of the area have been relocated to Burroughs School District. When I got there, some of the hooded guys were sitting in the circle, saying some weird Latin or something. This town had been the center of strange religious sects for at least because of our scheduled location. Subcults find it better to be away from society. They ever do so much as harm. They just perform some performances downtown. I shooed them away and got my flashlight out. One of them threw me a pamphlet. I thanked him and then stuck it in my pocket. After looking around the place, I deemed that it was a lost cause because, look here, and went back to my cruiser. That night, I pulled out the pamphlet on my nightstand and went to bed. After a few nights of sleep, I decided for whatever reason that I could read the pamphlet, and it had just be my eerie mystique to it, probably because of my imagination. But I could read it, and when I did, I knew I shouldn't have. I read at the top, Vista Church Country Church of Heavens, Vince of Harris. I investigated the Church of Harris for a while back involving some animal sacrifices ritual. It had never been conclusive evidence convict the cult's leader, Jonathan Harris. There had been rumors and stories about them capturing people for sacrifices underneath the guidance of Harris. The cult was always some sadistic connection, saying that the only difference between God and Satan is a name. I was raised in a Catholic, so I didn't really get this cult stuff. After seeing and reading more, I began to think more and more that maybe this little girl just wasn't lost or kidnapped. After some careful protesting, I went back to the playground to find the same people there. One of them was chanting some strange words out of some big book and a pungent smell that is held aside. I asked them a few questions about why and what they were doing, and if they have seen a little girl. They remained silent and didn't say the smallest thing. I pushed them away as I tried to find the source of the smell, eventually seeing a small brown thing buried in wood chips. Looked around. Only one cult member remained. He was mumbling distinct words to himself when I asked him about the playground. What are you guys doing here? I had questioned. I am summoning the evil of the world to avenge our soul. I never understood that kind of cult speak in this town, with that demons and spirit stuff, but I know it wasn't good. Just then, a huge wave of what I could call energy, not good, but dark energy, for lack of better word. I call it dark because it pulsed out through the viciousness of the playground, bringing me to the knees. The cultists started to yell, "He's coming!" And yes, I could hear the cries of the little girl in the huge cloud of smoke had been risen above, 10 yards away from me. I look up and I can see some horrible creature holding a girl in its arms. I grabbed my pistol and aimed at the sights, knowing that I couldn't shoot with that little girl. The cult member yelled at it, but it would be no use. The bullets cannot harm a demon. As a last resort, I ran over to the slide and, blinded with fear, I climbed up the ladder, seeing the darkest cloud that has risen over the small dark playground. Before I had made this act of bravery, I remember a small cross I held around my neck, and on a small chain, with one sweep, I plunged the demon with its pure neck with the cross, sending me flying off into the slide and into the wood chips. I don't remember anything after that. When I woke up in a bed of splinters, I looked around. The cult member was gone. The cloud was gone. No evidence of the demon remained. The only thing out of place was that small little girl's coat. And that, my little pretties, was I Lost Her. A creepypasta. I think you could just say a ritual pasta. I'm not really sure what to call this actually. My final thoughts on the story. Okay, now this honestly is it's a pretty something creepypasta, I'm not gonna lie. And what I mean by something is that it's a well-made creepypasta, but holy damn, this one was pretty crazy. I'm not denying that one bit when I say this. That was crazy. I'm not denying this one bit. That was like really crazy. This story honestly puts me in so many questions at times that I can't even begin to describe about which one kind of made me, kind of weirded out the most. Now, I honestly don't really know entirely, but I would have to say, you know, there were parts of the story that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So basically, this involves, one dad lost his daughter and he's like panicking, and then the sheriff goes to check it out to find some cult members trying to summon a demon or something like that. Now, take it, I don't do this kind of cult stuff, so yeah. But I would have to say, it's kind of messed up, but yet again, I mean, I think the cult members actually kidnapped the girl, or maybe when they summoned the demon, it kidnapped the girl. I'm not really sure on who kidnapped the girl, but I'm thinking it's either the demon or it's probably the cult members. But yet again, I'm not really too 100% sure about that because it doesn't really explain much about this story. I take it this one might be an older one. Yeah, it's an older one. I think it was written in 2000 and, yeah, 13. But what's sad is that the children die. The child dies in this. But it's not a very shocking death like Sweet Apple Massacre or something. But I mean, it takes a lot of, well, to turn and generic bare bones for a parts of every cult story to turn into something good. But all due honesty, this story honestly provides pretty good detail of what this one really is. Now, the grammar was pretty good, as well as a good sentence structuring and the storyline. I do find this story to be, a really good, enjoyable pasta. It's definitely worth to take a look at if if you happen to, like the story. But yeah, I could definitely say right now that this story honestly is one of the good ones out there. And this is on the regular Creepypasta Wiki. And I mean, to make something that is involving, a cult or something, this story honestly manages to do that very well. I mean, while most creepypastas don't really tend to do that, a whole lot as good as, back then anymore, but this one honestly manages to take the cake as a really good, respectful approach. This story, I have to say, was fantastic. Everything about this story was pretty much really well made. Now, I'm just going to sit here and say, to the author of this story, I can't seem to find out who the author is. So, if the author manages to see this and he or she comments on this video saying that they wrote it, I'll be sure to give the author proper credit once I do see it, okay? So, to the author, if you happen to be, the one who wrote this story, please let me know in the comments below. So then that way I can give you proper credit. But as of now, I'm just gonna wait on that. So yeah, I'm gonna wait until you comment down to see. So I can see who the offer is. So yeah, I guess with that being the case, that being said, I'm gonna sit here and, well, basically wrap up this review. Like I'm gonna say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story, I'm gonna give this one a what should I give this one? I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. It's a very good, very enjoyable creepypasta. It's definitely well made. It's a pretty good story. I do find it to be good. Really good story. It's beautiful. Definitely worth to take a look at it. And I definitely have to say it's not a bad story, I have to say. But yet again, what did you guys think about this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, please roll the outro because I'm out.